Welcome back, everyone, to Public Affairs. I am your host, Kayleigh Aiken, and today I am here with Rick and Jeremy. So why don't you guys tell the audience a little bit about yourselves and what got you to your career path today? We'll start off with Rick.
Yeah, I started off actually in the military right out of high school and served in the Air Force for 8.5 years, and then got my education degree. And kind of through that process of being a teacher, then a building principal, then a superintendent, found my way to Ohio High Point Career Center, where I'm the superintendent today, and kind of working on getting students in different career paths.
Yeah. And Jeremy?
Yeah, so I was a high school athlete and wanted to continue that in college, and didn't work out for me. But the thing that I did take away from that as a baseball player was that I really liked the logos on the hats. And so, long story short, that led me down a path where I got into graphic design and branding. Today, I'm a business owner of a business called Conspire. We're a purpose-driven brand strategy agency. And that's what I do, but I tell people my real job is being a husband and a dad and things around the house in Columbus. So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll jump into these questions about manufacturing then. So, Rick, we'll start off with you. Would you like to share some information about your organization that pertains to industry manufacturing?
Yeah, so Ohio High Point Career Center, recognizes there's a real importance in the manufacturing world right now in Ohio. Of course, we're surrounded by a lot of manufacturers in Bellefontaine, with the Honda plant in Marysville and things of that nature. So, we really look at getting students into pathways that involve manufacturing, engineering, welding, those type of things that build and design ideas. And so we have multiple places where we do that. We have our main campus where we have programs like that, but we also have satellite programs, and many people don't know what satellites are, but those are actual where we teach the class in our partner schools. So we serve 14 partner schools in 5 different counties. So it's a pretty wide, spread out operation. And so we do that by making sure that we bring teachers from the industry in. So we actually have, somebody who's retired from Honda teaching classes in manufacturing, or we have an engineer that has left the field and decided to come in and share their knowledge with today's students and things of that nature. So that's really kind of how we have worked on being aligned our curriculum to make sure that we're kind of on the cutting edge, that we have some of the best tools, and we have CNC machines, and we have welders, and we have Fanuc robots and Motoman robots and things for students to be able to learn the industry standard of today right now, as far as even having some of these classes aligned to college credit. So we have a partnership with Clark State on main campus. At our Marysville campus, we work with Columbus State, where kids can get college credit, possibly even get an associate's degree in CAD or in CNC machining and things of that nature. So it really allows the students to be very hands-on and be ready to go out into the industry and work right away, or pursue college, or pursue even entrepreneurship, like probably what Jeremy did. So we try to focus on those 3 E's of being employed, enrolled, enlisted, or entrepreneur, those kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Very important. So, Jeremy, same question for you. Would you like to share some information about your organization that pertains to industry manufacturing?
yeah, so we consider Conspire a story-driven strategy agency. And the thing that we like about that is we can take an industry like manufacturing, where some of the same challenges you face in inspiring kids to get involved and interested in developing a workforce for that industry can be addressed through good storytelling, right? Like, so tell a deeper story of what we're making, how we're, what materials we use, how sophisticated our equipment is, and talk about what kind of difference we're making in our community, in our country, and how being in a manufacturing business can be an avenue for people to really achieve their dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to Rick. What types of industry manufacturing initiatives is your organization implementing now, and what types of future industry manufacturing initiatives are you planning?
Well, I think, right now we're implementing, making sure that we're cutting edge with some of our classes. We have programs that involve welding technologies, automation robots, intro to design, computer integration, all those different types of things that are right now being taught. And we're looking at, cybersecurity and moving toward AI and all those different types of things about how that's going to play a role in future kind of ideas. And as I said before, we have business advisory councils where we have people, like I was just talking to Jeremy before we started, coming in and talking to our media graphics class, but we have people come in and talk to our engineering students about what's out there new, what's cutting edge. I was just talking to my welding instructor about laser welding, because that's now kind of the new thing, from stick welding, MIG welding, going to now lasers and different types of materials. And so we're always out there kind of looking to progress as to what is the newest type of technology, where's the business changing. And we get that from the business advice by talking to our local partners, where we might have student interns working, to having them come in and share with the classrooms and tell students directly what businesses are doing out there and how that might change in the future. So we have a lot of different business partners. We work with, from American Steel to Ohio Weld to DMG Tool and Die to Honda and AGC and Beltec and all the different types of manufacturers within my local area that are supplying some of the big boys like Honda and KT&H and those type of factories and things of that nature in the world of manufacturing. So being in 5 different communities in 5 counties, it is very much always kind of see what that area is leading toward and trying to adapt our curriculum to make sure that we're staying cutting edge for students of tomorrow.
Yeah, everything's evolving around us, so it's nice to get those people in there to talk about what's going on now and what's new. So that's nice of you guys to be able to do that. So, Jeremy, what types of industry manufacturing initiatives is your organization implementing now, and what types of future industry manufacturing initiatives are you planning?
Yeah, there's a couple things that I'd like to mention, both internal, like part of our operations and what we're doing, and then external with some sort of regional partners. I don't know how we got it, but we got a little niche in manufacturing. I mentioned sports and logos, and that was a dream of mine, but sometimes your calling finds you. And we've done a lot of really great work with regional, manufacturers, both big and small. We're really proud of the expertise that we've gained in there and the things that we've accomplished with those clients. We'll continue to seek out more. We serve them in a couple ways. One is our strategy offering, where we help sort of technical, hard to understand industries become more human with the stories they're able to tell. Mm-hmm. And that's brand strategy. And the other thing we do, especially for our smaller clients in manufacturing that maybe have salespeople but no marketers, or maybe they have one marketer trying to help grow the business, we can serve as a fractional creative services department. And that means, for less than the cost of an employee, we can bring our full range of agency skills to bear in sort of a part-time capacity and really help that solo marketer or no marketer department out. Yeah. So we like to work in that way, and we have several really successful relationships like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Relationships is what builds the foundation.
Sure.
Yeah. So, Rick, what role does manufacturing play in the economics of the region your organization serves?
It's huge for our region. We actually have over 5,000 manufacturing jobs and 3,000 engineering jobs and 1,000 IT jobs, just in a 100-mile radius of Logan County. So we really have to make sure that, like I said, we're working with those local companies from Honda to KT&H to Beltec to AGC to people. We have 3 plants just right near us for Honda, from the engine plant to those that make the Accord and the Acura to also the CRV and the MDX. So we just have those 3 plants right within probably 25 miles of my school district. And so you have all those sub-suppliers as well that supply the gas, that supply the transmissions, that supply your wiring and your cabling. And, we have lots of plastic companies around the area. We have lots that do with hoses and things of that nature, and so rubber. And so it's really widespread manufacturing in my region. And so it's very important. That's kind of why we have so many different manufacturing programs. We run one at Riverside, we run one at Urbana, we run one in Marysville, plus we have one on main campus. So we're trying to get about 350 students right now. And when you're talking about 5,000 jobs, that's just a drop in the bucket of what people are talking about with retirements coming up in the future and the need that they're going to have and the change even into automation, that these students are going to need way more technical skills and programming skills and working with the CNC type of machines and programming. And so it really is kind of changing the whole dynamic of the market. But we kind of have a large region of manufacturing right here in the state of Ohio. We're third largest actually in the country compared to Texas and California. Wow. So Ohio is in growing with, we have the EV plant that just got announced down there in Dayton for building the batteries. Those batteries are going to come up and be put in cases in Indian Lake, where we're at, right beside our school district, and then they're going to be transferred down to Marysville to be put into the new EV Honda Accord in Acura. So, we're right there also on that part of the cutting edge of manufacturing. You have Intel coming to Ohio, and so even looking at chip manufacturing and things of that nature, how do we get students looking at semiconductors and those kind of ideas in the future? And so I think if you just kind of look at Ohio as a whole, I think one of the things too, today's kids don't necessarily want to stay right by their parents' house, but you can move that 4 hours away and probably find a manufacturing job pretty locally in that area in the state of Ohio somewhere and have your own independence, but still, follow into a great career field.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ohio's still a nice, safe place to live.
It is,
It's lovely.
It is. Ohio is, and Ohio needs to recruit more. I mean, if you look at Ohio means jobs, there's about 200,000 jobs unfilled in Ohio right now.
Wow.
So, and we haven't, like I said, we haven't even opened the door to Intel yet. That is projecting 20,000 employees or 5,000 for the EV plant for the battery plant. So, there's way more jobs coming to Ohio than we can fill right now.
Yeah, I think it's funny you said that because I stayed home in Marion, but a lot of my friends left. But like you said, we still need them people to come to us as we're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jeremy, what role does manufacturing play in the economics of your region that your organization serves?
Well, I think it's critical that we continue to invest in the manufacturing industry. There's a story there, and it's a story of pride, making things here, things that we need, solving problems, innovating for the future. Those are big stories that we can tell and that we can use to inspire, young people to be involved in training and a career path in manufacturing. Mm-hmm. So I love that. I love our community here in Central Ohio. Is it Central Ohio? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm from Columbus. I was just checking. But you mentioned Dayton. I grew up in Dayton, and there is a sense of pride that I hear when I hear that there's a new battery plant in Dayton, and that's going to be involved in something that's close to home, outside of Columbus and Marysville. And those are all things that I think people still care about. They care about where they live. They want it to. There's a sense of pride there. And those are things that we are looking to teach up-and-coming manufacturing businesses how to leverage, to tell their story in a way that will connect people with, a sense of bigger purpose and inspire them to act. That's actually what our name means, Conspire, is connect and inspire. So that's why we do what we do. And community and investing in our communities is a big part of what we value as a business.
Yeah. I like how you said that because that's what those programs are about, is that pride and showing our communities what's going on around us and what we're doing to help our community.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you touching on that. Rick, tell me about Ohio High Point's Career Center's 50th anniversary coming up.
Yeah, so we're really excited. I invite everyone to kind of come out on October 3rd. We're having our formal ceremony from 1 to 2:30. But if you're actually an Ohio High Point graduate, come after that at 3 o'clock to 7. And we're going to have food trucks and a band and just be celebrating September 2nd, 1974 was when we opened our doors 50 years ago. And so October 3rd, we have planned our celebration to have some officials come in and help us celebrate our 50th. And then in the evening, we're going to have an open house for everybody in the community and people who maybe graduated from Ohio High Point to kind of come back, take a picture per decade. So those who graduated in the 70s and those who graduated in the 80s, kind of maybe see some old classmates and some friends and come out there and celebrate. So for 50 years, we've been working on developing workforce for the state of Ohio. As part of one of the 49 career centers, many of them around the state are kind of in that somewhere between their 48th and 52nd year because they were all developed about the same time in Ohio. And so we sit at the highest point in Ohio. So if you just want to come out and sign the visitor's book and go up by the flagpole and take a picture, we are the highest point in Ohio, a former military base that was a radar station. And so we have a challenge coin that we're giving out that day that recognizes all that kind of has the high point of Campbell Hill, the base recognition, and on the other side will be our logo and brand with 50 years on it. And so anyone who comes out can get one of those challenge coins. And so we invite the public to be part of our 50th celebration on October 3rd.
Yeah, that's how you can tell something's successful. 50 years is a long time.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, what are ways that small manufacturing and startup businesses can engage and leverage a partner like Conspire to meet their goals?
Well, we talk about branding, and congratulations on 50 years,
Well,
by the way,
you.
I wanted to say. I was thinking to myself, we made it to 12, but I don't know if we're going to make it to 50. That'd be a long time for me.
Well, you should come out, Jeremy, and see like our actual vision statement is called Aspire. And believe it or not, and so each one of those letters stand for accountability, service, innovation.
Very good.
So you should come out and kind of see our brand. It might give you some ideas. So just come out and visit us.
We'll talk about what kind of food trucks are going to be there. Then I'll see.
Yeah.
But no, definitely that sounds like a great time. But to get back to your question, we talk about the impact of branding. A lot of times folks say that, folks in my position might say that the ROI of branding is really hard to measure. We talk about it in three very distinct ways. One, of course, is in marketing performance. Another is in community engagement, so elevating, the reputation of your brand and the visibility. And the third, the one that I care most about, is in corporate culture, so developing a culture that people want to be a part of. And a big part of that I've talked about a couple times here today is, every organization, every brand has a story to tell. What you want to do is understand your audience, who you need that story to resonate with, and invite them into the story, right? And so this idea of workforce development is the area of impact where I think that culture benefit, we can really contribute there. And I wanted to mention earlier, it's interesting sitting here next to Rick and talking, specifically about young people in workforce development at times. We've done some programs with like the Columbus Chamber to engage local employers and local manufacturers in a dialogue with local teachers so they can then take a good understanding of what a career path in manufacturing looks like back to the classroom and really help those kids understand how it could be a really good choice for them and a really good option for them to look into.
Yeah, absolutely. Rick, how do you get youth interested in a career in manufacturing?
Me and Jeremy just actually met 3 minutes ago, right, Jeremy? About 20-some minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's the first time. And so, I'm going to plug Jeremy. What I think the state should do is hire Jeremy's company for a statewide marketing plan. I think we really need to look at this from a statewide level. Per region about what different manufacturing things need to take place. When, whether you like COVID or what you thought about COVID or not, the state marketing plan for COVID was pretty good as far as ping pong balls were dropping and my local nurse was talking to me about wearing a mask. I need those local companies to talk about, we need you. Jeremy was talking about telling a story and talking about how kids, if this is your social cause to give back to your community or give back to your state or make it something strong. Yeah. Our students are always looking for a social cause to be a part of. And I think the social cause right now is trying to keep your state economically strong. I think that's a story that companies like Jeremy's can tell. And I think we need to kind of look at that from everybody pitching in, from Ohio Means Jobs to community colleges to career centers to local manufacturers and kind of all coming and pulling on the rope together, that we see a workforce crisis in Ohio. Yeah. we see this coming about where people are saying, I'm 40 people short, but I can see I could be 100 people short in the next 3 or 4 years based on retirement projections and things of that nature. And so we really need to be talking to students in that kind of marketing idea of, here's a local career center that could help you with some manufacturing goals, or here's a local community college that could get you the right certificates or something of that nature to get, and here's a job employer that wants to hire you right now locally, and they're a family-owned business, or they have a story to tell. And so we need to kind of come together as a state and really think about how we market this together. And I think that would be really big for drawing students in and working in their media markets and what their causes are and things of that nature to kind of see. Because the one thing is kids have lots of options. And every job market is also struggling to find people, whether it's construction trades or healthcare. We are looking at having multiple areas where kids can pick. And so if manufacturing wants to get out there in front, one, they got to start telling the story a little bit better. And two, they got to start taking students under the age of 18. And so there's multiple ways in the state of Ohio to do that. The Ohio Revised Code 4109 allows them to take students under the age of 18 if they're in a career center pathway. So if you take one of my students through work-based learning, that's a way to get kids into your business early and let them see that manufacturing is different. It's not all dirty. It's changed. We have different types of ways that we can help you pay to go to college. And so we can get a different story out there if we can get kids in there earlier. A few years ago, they also made a pathway for manufacturing mentorship. And at the top of that page, it talks about taking students 16 to 17. And so it's specifically designed to get kids in there earlier into manufacturing pathways. I don't think the manufacturing businesses are using those tools effectively or well enough right now to get students out there into the career field. So if you want to attract students, you got to start attracting them earlier. You got to start talking to parents. We're doing a lot of career awareness and going out to schools in elementary and things of that nature. But we really do need companies like Jeremy's to help us tell a better story and be able to market that out there to those parents and say, look at what this job could provide or what this pathway, and really kind of how the social cause is to give back.
Yeah. I think it's nice that you talked about COVID, because I had someone in here the other day who was talking about how there's still cleanup from COVID. These manufacturers are still getting hit with the COVID after effect of getting people into work again. So it's just really nice that you talked about that, because I was like, this whole manufacturing series is to know what all these job opportunities are, because for kids or students, they look at this textbook, they see manufacturing, and it's not the same as it is now that they don't know about. So I think it's really nice that you talked about that. So, Jeremy, if you were to convince someone or talk to someone about your job position or to be in your career path, what would you tell them?
Well, I would tell them, whether there's a lot of creatives out there that are they got into it for the same reasons I did, the visual part of it, the arts part of it. But I would say that pay attention in your ELA classes, because writing and being able to articulate a story is so important. I would say work hard. Obviously, that applies to any career field, but definitely don't be afraid to start from the bottom, and it's worth it. And something that Rick said is, like, if you can connect yourself with a mentor, it's so valuable. And the earlier the better they can guide you. And one thing I didn't realize moving into the creative field, I started as a graphic designer, but there are so many other avenues in the creative and marketing fields, role specificity, and then in different industries. Like we're talking about manufacturing here today. That's a niche, just like sports is a niche, just like B2B services is a niche. Like there are different areas where you can specialize in. So, just because you're a creative, a marketer, or a graphic designer doesn't mean you're in a box. You can go to a lot of different places in the world and experience a lot of different things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Rick, same question for you. How would you convince someone to be in your career path or inspire these younger kids?
I think, Jeremy, once again, we have what are called career trees for every single program. And so if you look at career trees, they just show that when you come to our school, for example, you're not just coming to be, manufacturing maintenance, but there's multiple different pathways into those type of fields. And so, for me, it was education, and once again, there's everything from being teacher's aides to being a superintendent of a school. There's multiple pathways, multiple directions, including those people who want to work as a secretary or want to work in the maintenance department or want to work, there's other positions within a school organization. It's the same way for things like manufacturing. There's people that have to market. There's people in the HR department that have to recruit people into work. There's people who are on the line. There's people who are supervisors. There's people in charge of, recycling and making sure we have limited waste as much as possible to be condensed and be, environmentally sound. And we have people who are the managers, and we have people who are on the line, and people who are in the corporate office. So there's so many different pathways within just the manufacturing that and I think that's also important for kids to know, because I think people think, well, I'm going here and I'm going to be stuck in this, and I have to do this for the next 40 years of life. Most students today are going to have 7 to 12 different types of jobs in their career path. And so I think that's important to explain to people, is that, look at what you are doing and kind of I always set 5-year plans. So I started here, and then in 5 years in the Air Force, I wanted to get my degree. Once I got my degree in teaching and coaching, then I set my next 5 years where I was going to get my principal's license. And so it's just a pathway of setting different types of plans. So I would encourage people, if they want to be in any type of career, to kind of map out, and maybe you don't have to figure it out right there the very first day you start that job, but as you're doing that job and you're looking around, seeing what other people are doing, kind of like I was a teacher, it's like, well, I could be a building principal. I could probably do that job too. And so then I started taking the pathway to get to that next level. And so I would just encourage people to explore and then make plans. And as Jeremy talked about hard work, you got to be willing to work hard today. You got to be willing to kind of, put something to paper and go to school. Sometimes I was doing a full-time job and going to school at night, taking 4 or 5 different classes in a semester, to make that plan come true. So you got to be willing to work hard in whatever you're going to do. Yeah.
So we're getting ready to wrap up this interview. I'm going to ask you both this question. Is there anything you'd like to add, or a closing statement that you want to finish off with? We'll start with Jeremy.
I think, the big thing for me, and the special thing about being here today, is another small way to invest in our communities. I still love America. I love Ohio. I love Central Ohio, and I love our small towns. And, we get referred to as a Rust Belt a lot of times. And wouldn't it be a really special story to just see manufacturing boom here, where we can make things here that we can be proud of, that we can be self-reliant, we can solve our challenges, we can be domestically secure, and just proud of the work that we're doing. I also think that if you work in manufacturing, I have little kids, you're going to be a popular one at parent show and tell day, because you have a thing I've created, or a thing that's a vital part of a car that you can show. And there's a lot to be proud there when we're building things right here at home.
Yeah.
I would just say, I would probably talk to the parents and say, I'm one of 49 career centers. And so I would encourage you, regardless what age students that you have, that you start doing career exploration right now, and that you start looking at pathways for your kids and exploring what those pathways can do, and what your local high school maybe has career pathways, or what your career centers have around you that they could offer your child to maybe get a leg up in the business world, and also, take some of those classes that might even help them toward college. Many of them have college credit plus type classes, and so you can start building even that college plan now. So there's all those pathways that I think parents should start exploring early with their kids, and use some of those support things that are out there like career centers to help them.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for meeting with me today.
Thank you. Nice job.
And as always, you're watching Public Affairs, and I am your host, Kayleigh Aiken. Thank you.